Hello everyone, I am J. Karthik, working as Assistant Professor, IT Department in Kongunadu College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to see about transport layer in computer networks. So what is called as a transport layer? The transport layer is responsible for a process-to-process delivery. The process-to-process delivery is a delivery of a packet from a part of message from one process to another. Process is that is several data are there. So each and every data considered as a process. So that process to be transmitted from a transfer from a source to destination. So that is called as a process-to-process delivery. See this diagram. So in upper layer process is there, several kind of processes there. So that process to be fetched by the sender. So with the help of that data link layer, network layer, and then transport layer, so we can transfer the data to destination. So in between, so multiple router support is needed. So we already know about what is router. So router is used to find the shortest path in between a source to destination. For transferring the data, these three layers support is needed: data link layer, and the network layer, and then transport layer. These three layer support is needed for transferring the data from a source to destination. So the transport layer is responsible for a process to process delivery. So and then see this diagram. So in this diagram they explain about how the data is so transferred from a source to destination. So in that, so there are client will fetch the process. So there are several kind of processes there. Out of that, it will fetch the 52,000 process. 52,000 is a number. So each and every process they having their own number. So with that number only they can transfer the data. So in your frame, so what are all the information to be included? Data, port number, and then process number. So these three things to be included. So the data is that the user can transfer what kind of information they want to send from a source to destination. That is we call it as a data. So in that they use the port numbers. So always the server use the standard port, and then client use the different kind of ports. So server use only within the port of 0 to 20. Within the port numbers only the server will select, but with the client will select different kind of port numbers. So with that it will start to transfer the data. And then so in this diagram how it will fetch the process, and then how the IP address to be included, how the both IP address and then port numbers to be combined, and then how it will transfer the data from a source to destination. That information they are explained in this diagram. See here, so there are several processes there. So out of that they are select the port numbers. So and then in that corresponding system, so what kind of IP address they are using. So these two information to be included in a corresponding packet header. And then see this right side of the diagram. So they included the port address and then IP address. These two things we called it as a socket address. The combination of both IP address and port numbers we called it as a socket address. And then see that below there are several processes there. So all the process to be so transferred via the medium, the multiplexer, and then internet protocol. These through two parameters to be included for transferring the data. So processes that, suppose if one process is got succeeded from a source to destination, immediately it will proceed for a second process. So there is a multiplexer and demultiplexer they are using. So multiplexer is that encoding, and then demultiplexer is that decoding. So encoding is that hiding the actual information, that is we called it as a multiplexer. And then multiplexer is also we called as, so combine all those process, and then port address and then IP address. So it will combine all those things and then it will be in a converted in a hidden format. So why we are converting in a hidden format means instead of while we are transferring the data, so unauthorized person will try to access our information. So for the purpose only we are encoding the data. So in a physical layer always the data should be in a encoded manner, and then once it will receive in a receiver side it will decode the actual data, and then the corresponding user will retrieve the actual information. So this is what the data transmission will happen. So in this they explain about how we can control the errors. So in data link layer only we can solve the error problems. So this pink layer SCAD is always in that medium. So in a data link layer, it will always checks the error. So whether in that corresponding data whether errors are available or not. So error is checked in this path by the data link layer. So path is that in between this medium. So LAN. So wire LAN and then sorry wireless LAN and then LAN is so interconnected with one another with the help of router. So why it will transfer from a one node to another node. The data link layer will check whether the error is available in that medium or not. Like that, it will always senses the medium. But in the black line, the transport layer and the network layer, the error will not check. So in data link layer, only responsible for so free error error free mechanism. And that so this is thing we called it as a TCP/IP protocol shoot. So in this there is five types of layer which is involving application layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and then physical layer. In the application layer, there are several protocols which is involving for transferring the data. So SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, and then file transfer protocol, terrible file transfer protocol, and then domain name system. So NMP is that simple network management protocol, and then bootstrap protocol. This all protocol which is support for transferring the data to a uh, uh, so through internet. And then transport layer, the transport layer is called as um, stream control transmission protocol, and then transmission protocol, and then user datagram protocol. These three protocol is involving for a transport layer. And then in network layer, uh, internet group message protocol, internet control message protocol, and then internet protocol, address resolution protocol, and then reverse address resolution protocol. These protocols which is support for network layer. And then data link layer and then physical layer is supporting for free error transmission, and then through a medium to transfer the data through a physical medium we can transfer the data. So this like this there is this five types of layer which is supporting for TCP IP protocol shoot. So next thing is called as a user datagram protocol. So what does we call it as a datagram protocol? User datagram protocol is called as a connectionless protocol. So also we called it as an unreliable transport protocol. Why we called it as an unreliable transport protocol? So this user datagram protocol is that we are transferring the data in a air medium. So there is a lot of chances is there for data loss. So there is no accuracy will be available in this user datagram protocol. That's why it is an unreliable transport protocol. There is a several type of port numbers are available. So these are all the port numbers used in this UDP, user datagram protocol. The port number 7 is echo protocol, the port number 9 is discard protocol, and then port number 11 is so active users protocol, and then port number 13 is for used to retrieve the data in time, and then port number 17 is used to so display a code quad, and then port number so 19 is for used to return the string of characters, and then port number 50 is used for the domain name services, and then port number 16 is used for bootstrap informations, and then both 67 and then 68 is used for the bootstrap informations, And then port number 69 is used for a derivable file transfer protocol, which is used to transfer the file from one place to another. And then port number 111 is used for the remote procedural protocol. And then port number 123 is for a network time protocol. And then 161 and then 162 is used for a simple network management protocol. So for those purpose, for that kind of particulars only, they can use the corresponding port in this UDP. So this is a format of user datagram protocol, data format of for user datagram protocol. The 8 bits to be allocated for the port address, and then port address of source and then destination. So the source port address will have a 16 bit, and then destination port address will have port number will have a 16 bit, and then the total length of a bit is 16 bit, and then checksum it will allocate 16 bit. The remaining bits to be allocated for a data. So this is for the checksum calculation. The 32-bit IP address will be allocated for source, and then 32-bit IP address to be allocated for a destination, and then so zeros for data, and then 8-bit protocol for length, and then 16-bit for UDP total length, and then remaining all we discussed in a data format. Previous slide we discussed about the frame format. So this thing they are mentioned here. So this is how they can use it to transmit the data in a UDP. We can use a different kind of port numbers for a client side, but always in a server side they use the port number standard ports for transmitting the data. So in a client there is frequently they can transmit the data. So the how they can uh, follow a queue for transferring the data. So in a client, so there are several information they can transfer, and at the same time it can receive from a server side informations. So they use the different kind of port number is port 50,000. So like this, the port number should be length in a client side, but always in a server side they use only the standard ports. So in the server side also we have following the queue for both transmitting and then receiving the data. Within this, the transport layer concept is over. Thank you all.